Hey guys, it's been a while and now I'm back. Making time to do crypto videos is hard to do, but it's been a massive few weeks, so I want to get on top of things and have a quick chat. If you're up for looking into some awesome gems, stay tuned, watch it to the end. If you want to know what's going on with Bitcoin and in crypto market altogether, listen to this video. I'll tell you what I think and what I see happening, and I'm going to show you some evidence how to navigate this in a calm way, in a way that you're not going to be nervous every day checking the prices minute to minute. So stay tuned. Do me a favor, like the video on your YouTube account and share it with your friends and make sure they subscribe. Awesome. Let's get straight into it. So first up, we're looking here at a chart that those who have been doing consultations with me will know that we've had some massive movements this week in the crypto world. Some positions doubling, some positions getting 30-40%. So let's go into Dent. Was a big one. We had a bottom here at less than 0.00158, and anyone who has stayed patient from when we had the massive bull run up and watched it pull back significantly, now is the time to enjoy. We went from a 10x from down here up to here, and we've seen a pretty much this reversal happen because we did a video in this triangle, this breakout, and recently touched that same point. And if you watch my previous videos, about 2 or 3 videos ago, I said when there's a big correction between 50 and 80%, that's the time to buy, and that's when I'm buying. That is when a lot of buyers are looking at buying, and you can find indicators saying that we're at bottoms, and you can just use your experience. Now, I've got more than 15 years here in trading, so I know what I'm looking at when it comes to charts. Technical analysis, known as TA, is something that you acquire through education and investment. You pay a lot of money for the information, but then you've got to educate yourself and practice and spend the time, spend your money learning, and you go through a lot of experience by investing your own dollars. Sometimes you can use demo accounts, but they're not always a good example because you're not really invested. You don't have the emotion coming up and interfering with your trading, and that's really what you've got to be disciplined in. So to be a good trader, you need to be a disciplined person in your emotional side, and you need to make really strong decisions on what you're going to do and how your trading plan should be executed. You really do need to come up with a plan. You need to learn from someone who knows what they're doing and come up with that plan. Now, I do that in my consultations. I give summaries, I give ideas, concepts. So if you do want to consult, remember to get in touch with me. You can send me an email with what you want to learn, where you're at, and I'll get back to you and we'll book in an appointment time to get that organized. Now I'm going to give you a quick bit of free info. Remember, I do these videos for free to try to help you and guide you. There's a lot of new people in the industry, which is great. And over the last year particularly, I've got a lot of new people coming through. So I'm doing this for you guys, my friends, people who are interested in hopefully generating wealth. So Dent, big profits to be made here. And if we haven't already, those who got my call this week, a few people who had consults saw that this breakout was happening, and we saw pretty much we've seen a 3x, so it went from about 0.3 breakout to a 0.1, so 1 cent. So if you do the maths on that, it's about a 3.5x from here to there. We've seen that in other tokens. Now, would I suggest to buy? No. Why? Because if you know anything about indicators, RSI is topping really quite high here at a 93. This is when you sell, take some profit, let it pull back, and potentially it may even come back to meet the moving average, the 13-day moving average, and then potentially buy back in. So I'd be looking at a retest here of a 0.0048 on the US dollar. Hopefully it pulls back there and goes up. Well, back here, if you saw, it didn't really get much of a pullback. And this is the concern with some of these smaller caps. It's still quite a lot of money involved in it, so you don't really want to write it off as a small cap, but it's definitely something to consider, that these things can be a bit wild. So you can get some massive pumps to the upside and then just not even much of a significant pullback. But if you get a pullback like this, you tend to buy it, which we did, but then that failed because the whole market failed, and then we just held our position until it returns to a profitable point or a break even. Now, a lot of people might be about break even now. For those who bought up quite high around this exciting part, which I always say, don't buy parabolic pushes up to the upside. Wait till they come back down to buy. So if you had a bit of patience, you would have waited for a pullback there. Even if at 0.004 you bought in and it still went down, if you were patient, right now you would be in profit. And so that's the name of the game in investing. know what sort of trader you are. Are you a day trader? Are you a scalper? Are you an investor? Are you a long-term investor? You don't want to think about the market. You just want to invest in good projects that are going to hold value or increase in value. The name of the game is to back the winning horse, meaning I'm not into gambling. I don't believe in it, but what I do believe is in looking at quality projects that are going to help humanity solve problems and bring real solutions and utility to the world. Now, we do know that Dent is all about telecommunications. It's a problem. It's solving a problem. Instead of you going overseas and paying roaming fees, you could just quickly get onto Dent, purchase someone else's credit that they've got left over in the month, and you can use that while you're in that country. So it's very clever, and I think it's got a really good use case. So do I think this thing's going to return to its all-time high? I do believe so. Whether I have a crystal ball or not, I don't. But what I do use is my experience and my wisdom and my gut. And my gut tells me that parabolic run-up was justified in the excitement behind the project, but it was hadn't even really launched much. So now that we've launched, we're seeing a good gradual push up to the upside. I've had a good correction. Question is, will we then pass this? If we can pass this previous recent top, we'll be all right to keep going. But we do need to look back at Bitcoin and see where the market's going at the moment, because that's really going to indicate where we're at. So don't buy. I wouldn't suggest to be buying Dent now. I'd be waiting for a pullback. But we do know if you haven't gotten in, then just wait and watch the ride. Get educated, learn from this. Look at Dent as great. That's a good project. Dave reckons it's cool from crypto consciousness. Let me watch it. Cool. So you watch it and you watch it go up. You get FOMO. You go, damn, I didn't get in. But that's okay, because you're learning from that experience. So it's still wisdom producing inside your brain, and that's important. Now, if we have a look at Ethereum, we had a really good triple bottom as well here, meaning on a technical level, the market tipped or touched a point, and it was quite a popular point because from there it bounced straight up, and then it came back down, hit it again, bounced up, hit it again, bounced up. We'll call that one bottom, and that. So we've got, if I draw that in for you, we've got 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 bottoms. Anyone who studied W.D. Gann's work from the early 900s, he came up with the idea that every time you get a double or a triple bottom, you take it from the neckline, touch the bottom, boom. So we've got $677. So if we do from here, the bottom, to that neckline, that's what we need to double that into a 200% position. So 100% of the move from the bottom to the neckline is 100% of the move. We match that size and we drag it up, and we've done that point right there. So we've reached our target. If anyone was trying to make a trade on the triple bottom, then, or a double bottom, you would have got to the neckline and it dropped back down again. So it had a second entry point, bought back in at the triple bottom. It's definitely shown confluence. Everyone in the market is buying it. There's been a lot of good news coming out with Ethereum, because we know the layer 2s and the speed optimizations are coming through. So it's not going to die anytime soon, guys. So if you were hoping for that, it's not going to happen, I don't think. The only thing we need to worry about is the FUD around the SEC in the USA trying to basically outlaw crypto in a way, just through their legislation. So we've got to watch out for that. But for now, DeFi is safe until they make it difficult for everybody who owns it. So having a look here, we also reached a low point on the RSI, triple bottom on the RSI, and boom, took off from there. But we've reached our target. Another really good buy was Holochain, which I said back here when I did that last 2 or 3 videos ago. I said a massive 80% correction. Great time to get in the market. Even if it goes a little bit lower, this is the point you want to be looking at. It's a sale. It's a hot sale. You know, you can't really ask for better than that. And the RSI was quite low, minus 21. That's perfect. 21, not minus. 21, below the main line of 30. That's what we want to see. And that really confluenced with a double bottom, and boom, it took off from there. Those who took 2 weeks ago, who listened to what I was talking about in consultations, I said, you know, really get on top of Holo. I've been telling people since it's been crashing, basically, since the market's been dipping, this is the time to get a sale like this. And if you just bought, you'd be up double already. So 200%, a little bit more, 2.5x on that return there. Again, we have to look at the indicators and the charts, and I'm looking here. I've done a Fibonacci from a low here to a top, And for those who don't know, Fibonacci is a ratio of mathematical formula that appears everywhere in nature. And the golden ratio is the 0.618. And you can see here, that's where we're coming to right now. So in my opinion, I wouldn't be buying anywhere near this point. I would be looking for a pullback and a retest of the 0.0072 USD. Those who are on the Aussie dollar, you'll need to go into CoinSpot and just open the chart and look for this position here in the charts, where you can see significant touch points coming back down as support. We did break the support, and that's what took us lower, but as soon as we broke above this moving average, which is a 21 day moving average, we came back to retest it and took off. Now, some people, that's all mumbo jumbo. So what we're saying is though, if you just trust what I'm talking about in experience, generally when we cross over a significant average, we come back to test that. And that gives us validation that we're going up, or if we go below it, we're going down. So in this case, we've broken above it. Solid, strong breakup, which is good. Now we need to look at Bitcoin and what's going on in the overall market to get a good idea if we're going to potentially go down or if we might just be going crazy up. If Bitcoin goes ridiculously up, then some of the altcoins will suffer. They will get a huge amount of money taken out of altcoins to go into Bitcoin, and that's when you'll see that pullback. So let's go over to Bitcoin, and here we are in the weekly chart. If you look at the weekly, it means it's got hardly any noise. Every bar, is a week, and we've seen a beautiful up run all of end of last year into early this year. Then in April, we saw a huge correction, and that's what everybody has been worried about. There was a lot of FUD, potentially a lot of manipulation that actually occurred, in my opinion. That's what was the cause of it, and then a lot of big buying coming up around, as I indicated, the 29,800 point was a huge area of support from institutions and so on. Even though people were saying it's going to go lower, don't believe what everybody's saying. If you look at the masses, what everybody says, do the opposite, and generally you'll be better off, in my opinion and my experience too. What's good is I did say we were either going to double bottom or triple bottom here with Bitcoin, and we did. 29,600, and from there we've taken back up. We did go below a potential average, which was just for a short term, but as soon as you see all these wicks up, you know buying's happening. And so institutional buying is definitely buying when the FUD's being put out. In a way, they could coordinate that beautifully. If you've got enough money and enough media control, you'll be able to do that. So from here we pushed up. Let's just go over to, actually I'll just show you there as well in Bitcoin. So the RSI wasn't very low, but it's significant lower. In a bull run, that's a pretty significant low point of nearly just below 40. So we'll call it 39. And from there it bounces off, and it hasn't gone down since. So we really now want to look at the moving averages. And one of the great things I'm going to show you now is in history, if you take out the noise and go to the bigger time scale, if you look at the indicators such as the moving average, so we've got the 21-week moving average here. Every time we have been above it, we're in a bull market. Every time we go below it, there's a potential bear market. Now, right now, we're at such a critical point, and those who I've spoken to this week will know what I'm saying is let's watch what happens. This weekly close is going to happen any moment now. Once that bar closes above this average, and if I can zoom in so you can see exactly what I mean, will be better. So we've got here, you can see that, good. Can you see here this blue line, right? This blue line here, which is at about the 44,000, 44.5, 44.4, let's call it. That's the moving average of the 21 week. Now, when we go above that, which I'll show you in a second, we'll go in history and back test this strategy. When we've closed above it, we generally stay above it. When we pull up and wick back, we don't always stay above it, and that's when the market can come down. But we're at a quite low point on the RSI, well, a medium point, let's call it. And let's go back in and see this methodology. Let's go back and test this. So if I scroll in, close that down a bit. Let's go back all the way back into Bitcoin's beginnings. On the chart, scroll down. Beautiful, okay. So you can see here, starting up, we're above the 21-week moving average. As soon as we went below it, boom, we dropped and dropped and dropped until we got back up it again. And once we got above it, we started to break out. We came back to retest it. This area here was all retesting indecision and eventually it just busted above and took an uptrend towards the upside, came back, retested it, went up ridiculously, which was great, retested it, and then we even broke below it. Now, that was in the early days, and so a little bit of money could have made a big influence. So potentially we would have been getting a lot of buyers in this point here, seeing that the market was still above this moving average here, which is a MA moving average ribbon, and that at least it didn't go past its lowest point. That's your secondary support saying that it's not a bear market. So then it busted up again, went up to the upside, stayed up, came back down, tested it, bounced off it. So it broke down and tried to test and stay above. Now in this bit here is sort of consolidation indecision. So you'd have a stop loss at the 21-week moving average. So if it broke below, you'd be out of your position. And I'll just show you right now how that works and why that would work. And you would have thought, okay, next time it breaks above, I'm going to buy. So you bought and it broke below, you had your stop loss, you were straight back out. So every time if you buy and sell, whenever it crosses that line, you would probably be in, definitely you would be in profit by now, meaning you would buy here and every time it broke below, you'd be out. Okay, so you were out there and you bought in here. So 300, you would have bought in and sold out at 500. You'd be in profit by 200. Great. Every Bitcoin that you owned. So that's a significant 30%, 40% return. Then it broke above. See, that would have been a quick wick down to the downside and a quick bust above. So you would have been a little bit annoyed. But so what? You bought back in and then you watch this thing go up, up, up until all the way up to here into 9,500. So you'd be at a 20x return. Breaks below, you get out. Keeps trying to get back up. Here you would have been a little bit, probably had a few false flags, but maybe you would have waited for 1 week candle to close above. See, here it didn't close. Let's zoom right in on that. It didn't close any of those. There's one there that might have been just considered, but it didn't. So you wouldn't have bought that position and it would have gone down. You would have been happy when you saw this crash. Beautiful. You would have seen that's a significant 3x below the normal average price from the previous top. So you would have bought on this consolidation, which went sideways. Then you broke above, nice close to the upside. You would have bought in there, 4,600, and you would have ridden that up to this breakdown of 9,000. You would have capitalized. Then no closes above, so you don't buy until here, and then the black swan event happens. But you wouldn't have lost really anything. You would have bought in about 9,000, and the black swan took you out at about 8,000. So not a huge loss. But then you would have brought it back in here when you saw this ridiculous oversold position. RSI is low, one of the indicators you can use, and you buy back in. Same with back here, you're buying back in. So then we bought back in last year and we've seen nothing but good days. Until recently, if you had your stop loss at $46,000, you would have been happy days to see this triple bottom form. At some point, you're waiting to see if it's a bear market. We don't know until it breaks above. Right now, good news is we are breaking above and closing potentially this candle any minute now. The close needs to be about 44,000 and a bit. And right now we are traveling at 45,450. So if we can hold this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking at this holding and then the next candle opening up here and continuing up to the upside. I will explain to you now what I see as resistance. I've got my daily chart here for Bitcoin. Now that we've broken up, I've got our little golden cross there, which means we're going to the upside. Where I'm looking for resistance is at 51,400, which is if you have a look at this Fibonacci chart, I've just overlaid Fibonacci here, and at the golden ratio of 0.618, which is a very popular place for things to occur. Whether it be support or resistance, that's where I'll be looking at the market going to with this next stretch over the next couple of days, this week. I'd be expecting a lot of selling off there, which is not a bad thing because it could then sell off till we come and meet roughly 42,000, which is a previous top on the charts. Also a bottom there and there, top and a top there. And if we can get supported there, then we potentially will continue following this mean line to the upside. Once we've crossed over them, so we had resistance on this mean line, but once we crossed over, we retested it, we back tested it, meaning the market decided it will support that area. So a lot of buying came in, and we've got a nice bit of buying coming on through the market at the moment. So yes, I would be looking at selling some of my position there in Bitcoin and then moving them over to altcoins. But we do know that Bitcoin is the leader of the cryptocurrencies. Most of the money is in Bitcoin compared to all the other altcoins. If you have a look what we've got today, we've got Bitcoin in Australian dollars. It's CoinSpot, it's 65,600. We've got Ethereum at 4,600, and then you can see the rest there. Best moving at the moment is Solana. Solana's a brilliant project. It's up 30%. I would not encourage anyone to buy that. It's too high up for a one-day move. Try not to buy things when they're in huge green movements. Look for the red days. That's the days you see these big red candles. When they're ridiculous pullbacks like that, you buy. Even if it goes a bit lower, you still know you got a pretty good bargain, and that bargain needs to average out. So that big drop needs to average out, and so then there becomes this pretty quick pull up push in the market, and it happens again. And so anyone who is a seasoned trader or a seasoned investor knows to look for a good deal. And when you see a pretty quick radical 5 days drop of price by more than 50%, then you buy it, because you know it's one strategy, one of many strategies. Doesn't always work, but if you retest or go back into the chart and see how radical that chart moves, it might give you an indicator of its characteristics. And I like to look through the charts and see what sort of crypto we're looking at, what sort of investment it is. Here we sort of have a significant touch point in Solana. I'll just draw it out here. There's a low there, sort of two lows there, but it's going up, so it's still ascending. Anyone would have seen that point and potentially bought that point there, and you would be quite happy right now. You'd be almost triple, at least 2.5%. We've just taken out the previous top there. That's good news for Solana. So there might be a bit of hype today, which might take it up to $90, but there'll be a big sell-off at that point there. So let's not get carried away. Do not buy. It's a big warning. Do not buy. Just a sec. Do not buy at this point, because it's too high up. And so we need to see a pullback here. But in crypto, what's great about it is things can just go up, up, up and away. So don't get carried away. Now, today I want to talk to you about a gem. Do you guys want a really good project to invest in? If so, okay guys, here is my gift to you. I invested in this project about 2.5 years ago, and it has been a real good game changer. It is one of the sectors of the crypto market, which apart from DeFi, NFTs, security tokens and store of values, the one thing that I'm looking at I think is a game changer is the proof of view for advertising. So when you've got something like YouTube charging advertisers, and then that regardless whether somebody watches the ad or not, they're paying for it. So in a way, it's not really a fair system. But what we want to do, and what's happening in this pay proof of view, is people are being paid to watch, and therefore only if you watch do you get paid, but also only does the advertiser pay if someone watches. So rather than paying when someone's not watching, it becomes a waste of money. So this will create a bit more fairness and validity in the industry, and I think a lot of when it comes to viewing, like Theta TV, are all moving in this direction. And what's great about Veracity, if I take you to their website, where is the mouse gone? If I take you to their website, you're going to see it's a beautiful website, nice structure. We've got staking available, which is a huge part of Veracity. Basically just whatever you invest in, you can stake it in there, lock it up for a while. I think it's a 72-hour lockup period to get it out of it, which all you're doing is you create an account, you then stake to that account, you then earn interest of 25.55% per year, which is an amazing return, one of the best on the market, which will give you, let's say every $10,000 you'll be earning $2,500 just for staking it, which is a pretty good return. Let's have a look. What is Veracity? Veracity provides proprietary technology uniquely rewarding gamers, viewers and publishers. Veracity is a crypto-based platform with the Vera token that aims to revolutionize the online advertising business. That it will. With its innovative proof of view system, advertisers are able to guarantee their videos ads are seen and not ignored thanks to smart contracts on Ethereum chain. So there's a link there with Ethereum. Awesome. While viewers are able to earn Vera simply by watching the content they already consume. Veracity has a focus on gaming publishers and esports, two big industries as well, gaming and sports. You know, you couldn't ask much more than that to get involved with a program that has, by the way, they have a patent here, and this is what made them explode recently. If we have a look at the charts, let's have a look at that channel, boom, like this, and this. All right, so it was up and down, and we can buy and sell it. So every time it went cheap, we bought it. Every time it went up to a previous top, we sold it. Every time it went back down, bought it, and so on. Until it broke out above 0.0014 here this year in February. Unfortunately, I did cash out a lot in this previous top here, and then a previous top here when I saw that, when was that? December. So late November, early December, because it just waiting for this patent to be approved. Once it approved, boom, it exploded, and we pretty much saw that from that breakout to here was a 10x. Sorry, more than that. I'll show you how you do it actually, guys. So you get your calculator, boom, you say, all right, so what was that price? We go 0.045, how many, and we'll go to that breakout price there of divided by 0.0015, and that gives you a 30x multiple. So if anyone had bought in here and potentially sold up there when the RSI was peaking, probably you would have sold out roughly where it is now at this point here. Once the RSI reached a peak, it would have held that peak for a few weeks, and you would have thought, okay, is this overbought? Maybe, so we'll sell, and then it did. It dropped back down. Obviously, dropping back down recently was a good time to buy it. I picked some up, and now I'm saying it might be time to do that again, because this project is going to get stronger and stronger, particularly with the gaming industry, particularly with the fact that people are getting rewarded in Veracity token. If we now go back into the daily chart, you can see here, once we breaking above here, this trend line, it's come back to retest it very slightly, and now we're at a beautiful consolidation point. So there's this tug of war of, are we going to go down or are we going to go up? If you just do a light trend line, you can see that this is on the uprise there, boom. So if you could put a stop loss around here somewhere, which is what, 0.016. If you buy in around here somewhere, 0.016 would be a 15% loss. But if we stay above this area, you're in good hands, I'd say. And even if we just retest the previous top there of 0.05 from where we are now, from let's call it 0.02 to 0.05, that's a 250% increase, which is a nice return before we see a retest and then push down on the market potentially. So Veracity, great opportunity to invest into a great sector of the crypto market. A good project, good team. They're on Telegram. You can join their Telegram team. But don't be stooged, because a lot of scammers out there are always trying to get people to give them their wallet passwords or their seed phrase passwords. Just be really smart when you're investing in crypto or anything online. There's going to be a lot of people trying to contact you in Telegram. Do not listen to any of them. Do not give them any information. The real guys will be giving you the information on their page, and they'll say it live on the public they'll type it live on the public Telegram page. Don't go for DMs and personal messages. Now here is the Australian price for Veracity. You can see once we broke out the 13-day moving average, broke above the 21-day moving average. Once that occurred, there was a little bit of consolidation and a lot of traffic. Look at that volume down there. Can you see that? That means it went from hardly anything, from being very quiet, which created a nice round bottom, which is this line I've drawn here, that black line, and then we've bounced above it. So once we broke out, I bought more down here once we crossed over. It's a good point to get in, and now we're doing pretty well. So it's very easy for this thing to go. Where we are now is, let's call it 2 cents, and if it even goes up to a previous top of 7 cents, you are in a good position. So, you know, you could easily see 12 cents on this thing by the end of the year. Let me just scroll up. End of the year is around here, December. So it's not unlikely if we do something like this, there's a bit of an average line of what it could do. Boom, straight up there. So that's my tip of the week. I'd be looking at getting in on Veracity. It's a good positive point. Put your stop loss around 2 cents or just below 2 cents. Maybe let's call it 0.0199 cents, which is 1.9 cents. Put your stop loss around there. If it goes lower, you know, you've stopped out at about 18% loss. If it keeps going up, you're in happy days. So Veracity, and remember the wallet. To get the wallet and stake, the address is Vera Wallet TV. Let me just pull that. There it is, verawallet.tv. Make sure you type that in, and then you start an account, and then you'll see how to go about staking from there. If you want consult or guidance on any of this stuff, no question is too silly. If you need help, you need help. If you've got no one to help you, I'm offering those services, obviously at a cost. So, you know, it's something you invest in is yourself and your investing. So I can give you more what my opinions are and everything, my professional investing opinion. Anyway, guys, I hope all this video brings you to a good space and gives you a little bit of insight. Hopefully we've covered off enough information for you to got food for thought and make better decisions. I'm not sure if I covered Holo, but yeah, wouldn't be buying any there. I'd be looking for a correction there and a retest, maybe at just below the 1 cent mark of US. But the market's hot, guys, so enjoy. Make sure you take some profits. If we start to see Bitcoin, that was something I did want to mention. Once we hit the 51 mark, it will either blast through or we'll get major resistance, and that could be a point where you might want to sell a few tokens that don't mean so much to you, that were just for a quick ride. And if so, like if anybody bought any tokens once Bitcoin sort of hit this point here of 38,000, there was a lot of hype coming into altcoins. So we've had a really good run from the start of the month. So the last 2 weeks we've seen a pretty good run up to the upside. This could continue for the rest of this week, and then if so, we might see some red, which would be healthy. A pullback would be really good, maybe to retest the, let's call it the 13-day moving average. The best would be a 21-day moving average. Again, would be really good to see a retest of $42,000 and then a continuation to the upside. We want a gradual uptrend rather than a solid parabolic, because we know when something pumps, it dumps, and we don't want that. We want a consistent, healthy uptrend, and that's usually the best markets and the most stable markets. So guys, have a good week. Happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.